What's up, folks? This is Justin from Books, Bricks, and Boards, and today I'm here to talk to you about one of my absolute favorite OSR games, that being Sharp Swords and Sinister Spells by Diogo of Old Skull Publishing.
The sportos, motorheads, geeks, sluts, bloods, wastoids, dweebies, dickheads, they all adore him.
Now, this game, I think, belongs on everybody's shelf, but it is not a well-known game. It's not published by a big game designer, but this guy has been extremely involved in the Dungeon Crawl Classics scene for years, and he has several different projects that he's worked on, including Solar Blades and Cosmic Spells, Dark Streets and Darker Secrets, and he's been a author of adventures for Old School Essentials, and he's done work on Dungeon Crawl Classics projects. And even in this book here, this was edited by Jen Brinkman of the Judges variety from Dungeon Crawl Classics, if you're familiar with them. But today I'm going to go over what makes this book special and why I think you should have it on your bookshelf. So what is it about Sharp Swords and Sinister Spells that really makes it hum? Well, to begin with, it's tiny. It's amazing that you could fit this much innovation and just good use of existing rules into a book that is only 48 pages, I believe. So this book is one of two. There's also an addendum, which is a great add as well. But honestly, if I'm going to play Sharp Swords and Sinister Spells, I really only need this. This book is going to add tables for days, a monster generator that takes up like a quarter of the page count, and some optional rules like running 0-level heroes in Sharp Swords and Sinister Spells to make it even more like Dungeon Crawl Classics.
That's just my game.
But really, these I think you could use in any game, any OSR game. So pick that up too if you're going to be looking at some options to add some flavor to your OSR game.
Oh gosh, cash, I guess. I mean, it's not deductible, is it?
But today, we're talking about this book. So this game, Sharp Swords and Sinister Spells, borrows some ideas from the Black Hack as well as Dungeon Crawl Classics and other OSR products, but it ends up becoming something completely its own. The characters have 4 stats, physique, agility, intellect, and willpower, and they're rolled 3d6 in order to determine. They are extremely important as they determine the target roll for all actions. By default, all rolls target equal to or under a stat, though difficulty can be added to the die roll to make it a little bit tougher. Where this roll under system is a bit different than others is that you want to have the highest roll that you can get without going over, kind of the Price is Right effect. So a critical is rolling exactly the stat, while a fumble is going to be rolling a 20, at least for the heroes. Now later iterations of these rules, used in Solar Blades and Cosmic Spells or Dark Streets and Darker Secrets, change the stat creation rolls to 2d6 plus 3, which evens out the curve, and you might want to consider trying that here so you don't get players that get, say, an 18 in physique and they have a 90% chance for success against even adversaries.
That's a really good idea.
They also, in those other works, change the way difficulty works, which I think works a little bit better, but the system here is very, very playable.
The only rules that really matter are these.
Now inside you're going to find 3 classes: the Warrior, the Specialist, and the Magic User. Special attention was given to the Warrior in particular, giving him a positive die to a preferred weapon, an extra damage die up the die chain, and additional maneuvers in combat. This is a great choice as fighter types in OSR games tend to be very vanilla and item dependent. Not in this case. The Specialist and Magic Users are the other 2 classes, and they're about what you would expect, with the Magic User being a little more powerful than traditional due to the way that spells work. Similar to Dungeon Crawl Classics, spells can be used until you fail to cast them, and failure can create some fantastic consequences. Spells get power level variabilities, allowing magic users to risk failure for a better result. Each player also chooses a vocation, their non-hero job, and any tasks in that field gain a positive die. Think advantage. It's an easy skill system that you could really apply to any OSR game. One of the many ways that Sharp Swords and Sinister Spells looks at the genre differently is in this game, armor lowers damage dice to a lower die. Think the DCC dice chain, while shields allow you to add a negative die to monster attacks, making them less likely to hit. Monsters need to roll the player's agility or higher to hit.
Yes, I lied to you.
So adding a negative die makes them roll 2 dice and take the worst of the 2. Monsters, as opposed to heroes, do achieve crits on a 20.
You actually were telling the truth.
I do that quite a lot, yet people are always surprised.
Now, monsters of higher level add the difference between their hit die and the player level to their attacks, and the difficulty for the players to hit them as well. The monster's stat blocks are extremely simple. They essentially become just a matter of a hit die level and a single special ability. So, for example, the two-headed lion is a 3-hit die monster, and it gets 2 attacks and moves twice as fast as a human. The reason that can be done is because the monster's damage dice are determined by their hit die. This is a brilliant idea as it greatly simplifies not only the record keeping for the game, but also the ability to create enemies on the fly as you're playing. Leveling up is another area where Sharp Swords and Sinister Spells diverts from the traditional, but in a great way. With Sharp Swords and Sinister Spells leveling system, you have a quasi-milestone system whereby you are looking at hitting a certain number of adventures to reach your next level. For example, if you're first level and you want to reach level 2, you need to go on 2 adventures. Now, when you do get to level up, you add a hit die, giving your character more hit points, and you get to roll to try to improve your attributes. You get to roll against your prime attributes, which are determined by your class, as well as one other attribute of your choice. You roll a d20 against the stat that you're trying to improve, and if you get higher than that stat, you improve it by 1. Even if you choose the same attribute as one of your primes, you can only ever increase each stat once per level. Another great thing about this book and all of the books that Diogo has written,
I'm a fan,
they are absolutely chock full of tables. Tables in this particular book include spell catastrophes, adventure goals, locations, antagonists, supporting characters, complications, and rewards. Each is highly useful, and they're great despite whether you use them in this or any other OSR game to spark on-the-fly content. So who's this game for? This is for anyone that enjoys concise rules, OSR principles, or useful tables. This is going to fit the bill. It's also very budget friendly, so the cost conscious should rejoice here as well. If you like the Black Hack, DCC, or any OSR game, this is going to be your jam. Who's it not for? Really, I don't know who this game isn't for. If you're watching this channel, then this is probably a book that should be on your shelf. I don't think that at the cost, you will see the value you get from this from any other product.
good. Get my money's worth.
And on top of that, Diogo is a really spectacular guy. I was reading his website blog earlier this week, and I noted that he is going through many of the same struggles that I am right now, and as a result, I wanted to revisit this game that I've had on my shelf for several years now, and I really love.
It is so choice. If you have the means, I highly recommend picking one up.
Diogo is a super guy, and I would love for anybody that watches the channel to show him a little bit of support and pick up a couple of his books. Again, he also has Solar Blades and Cosmic Spells, as well as Dark Streets and Darker Secrets. And both of them use a rule set that is very, very heavily influenced by the one that I've talked about today in Sharp Swords and Sinister Spells. Diogo has talked about the struggles with his job and with anxiety and a little bit of depression, which I can certainly relate to. Every video I sign off by saying good gaming and God bless. That's not just a tagline. If I didn't have God in my life, I would not be able to traverse the difficult waters that I am right now. So I'm hoping that Diogo has that advantage as well, and I hope that you do also. So until next time, this has been Justin from Books, Bricks, and Boards. I wish you the best, good gaming, and God bless.
Well, bye.
Just kidding, we aren't quite done yet. If you'd like to stick around and see how character creation goes in this system, that's what I'm going to do right now. Just as a reminder, you're going to roll 3d6 in order to determine what your character's stats are. And these stats are going to be the basis for all of their actions. So we're going to roll physique, then agility, then willpower, and then intellect. So first up, we've got physique, and he got an 11. So not terrible. Then we're going to roll agility. Agility is particularly important because that's also how you determine if the character gets hit. The monster is going to roll a d20 trying to hit this number. So this is actually going to make them rather survivable. Willpower, we got a 12. And intellect, we got a 7. So, with all that divvied up, I've got a couple of choices. This character could be a warrior that is rather survivable. He's got a 55% chance to hit with melee weapons. With a 16 in agility, he's going to be very accurate with ranged weapons. Or I could go specialist, and a specialist is like a rogue, sneak attacks and all that good stuff. And I think that's the route I'm going to go. So I am going to make this character a specialist. And for their vocation, as a reminder, the vocation is going to determine the types of activities that they're going to get a positive die on. That would be like advantage. And it's their non-hero job. So we're going to say that this particular character was a beggar. So he's going to have knowledge of street type activities. I'm going to roll his hit points. And I got a 2. I don't believe that specialists get any bonus to that roll.
You're hopeless.
Actually, they get a d8, so I do get to roll a different die for that. All right, so rolling the correct die, hopefully it's a better result. And it's not. It's still a 2. So we're going to do 2 hit points. And specialists have the best luck stat. And they get a d8 for their luck. It's going to take 2 adventures to advance them to the next level. I need to roll a complication. So we're going to roll on a d66 table, which is right here. And for the first one, we got a 6, and the second one a 3. They have a duty to a criminal guild. That sounds like a thieves guild to me.
Have you paid your dues?
So we're going to say they've got a duty to the thieves guild. And then I'm going to roll for gold, silver. So I got a 12, which is going to be 120 silver pieces. Now, this character is going to not want to wear heavy armor because that would cause a negative die on their agility. So we are going to buy some light armor, which is
everything that guy just says is bullshit. Thank you.
You know what? Actually, we're going to buy medium armor.
You have chosen wisely.
We're going to do studded leather. And that is -1 die type. And then for that, that's going to cost us 50 silver coins. And we're going to go ahead and get a dagger, which is a D4 damage. We're also going to get a bow, longbow. That is a D8 damage, but it's going to cost us 20 silver coins. Doesn't say how many arrows we get. I'm going to give myself 20. And we are going to need a backpack, which will cost us 2 silver coins. A grappling hook, which will be 1 silver coin.
You chose poorly.
Thieves' tools, which is 30 silver coins. So that's 50, 70, 73, 103 plus the cost of my dagger, which was 5. So that's 108. So I've got 12 silver pieces left. And my character is ready to meet the world. So all that's left is to give him a name. And we're going to call him Garth. And therein is the process for building a character in Sharp Swords and Sinister Spells. This time for real. Until next time, this has been Justin from Books, Bricks, and Boards. Good gaming, and God bless.
That's all, folks.